And we are back. So I sort of rushed this end because the episode was getting long, and I think I've done that once before. So the phonograph requires, I guess, a wax cylinder from somewhere. And so what I was thinking in between episodes, at least one thing comes to mind, is that the Douche Jr. was not much of a chemist, so he's not really gonna be able to come up with some sort of poison at least, but maybe he'll know a dangerous plant if he sees one, and he's not, you know, an idiot, so he can figure something out. But with plants, he's not really that proficient. If he was, he would probably do a good job. But there are conflicting interests, and his change of mind as to... Oh, I know what's blocked. They don't have mirrors in this game, I think. At least reflective. I was thinking that somebody's ashamed of themselves or something, but... But what was I thinking? Conflicting sort of interests, I mean. Because now, well, because I think because the father's dead, he can apply again, and he would get in, do what he wants to do, but maybe he doesn't want this fucker to get it. So that would be like an anti-motive. Well, I don't know. Anti-motive for murder. I don't know. He would gain these... Well, a motive for... Because we know that White is vain a little bit. So White and Junior... If Junior gets the leadership, like the de jure leadership of these gardens, then he can give the de facto leadership to Miss White, and they can sort of work together. Miss White had jewelry, so she has money. Did she have money before Albert gave it to her? Is she holding on to the jewelry? It's a little strange. Let me look at one thing. There was a photograph. Oh, it was right, this one, right. Inscription of Martin Hamish's photograph. Father and I, Kew Gardens. Alright.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
So since I... Martin Hamish, so Reynold Hamish is the father. And that's why Martin is also... So there, yeah, there might be some strange sort of chain of events that have been going on through generations, because maybe his father was going to... maybe his father was going to take control of this, but then Douche Senior, I mean, they're all called douches now, but not Hamish. The dead guy might have taken the position from him, and now there might be, you know, it might be like a long vendetta. Another bottle of champagne.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste.
So we've got a few bottles of it, so it's not like a special occasion, I don't think.
French wine. A remarkable vintage.
But he does drink. A lot. Money, telephone.
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
New plant species. The Kew Gardens team are pleased to announce the successful production of a new variety of barley, one that retains a complete resistance to the cold. They have named it the Siberian barley. Mr. Martin Hamish and the proud cultivator of the graft, am I reading that right, will hold a press conference next Monday morning upon this very subject. Martin Hamish. I'll make sure that I'm on the same page. Yes. So the father had some other name. Martin and...
A photograph of Montague Dunn.
Reynolds. Jesus. Okay. My dearest Margaret, following our last conversation, I believe it might be better if you vacate your position here at Kew Gardens. As you pointed out quite bluntly, you are no longer in need of my support. You are quite able to stand up for yourself in this world, as you say. Well, I give you back your freedom and wish you nothing but good luck. Montague. So, she seems like she's maybe a bit all over the place. And it looks like Saddam Hussein. And we'll see if that is like something that she requested, that she's here because she's not actually... She doesn't actually really, well, I'm sure she doesn't mind being here, but she might not, you know, care either way because she's doing well in school, I would imagine. We'll see. What was that? Let's go back. All right. One more, okay. 2, 2, 5 or 3, let's say 5. And I guess, okay, let's try it this way. 2, 2, whoops, almost went overboard. 5, and then it would be the rest if there was some sort of sequence, but we'll see. Yeah. Lots of stuff.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Debt of Miss Margaret White to Mr. Montague Dunn. Rental of a suite. How can I forget a word like suite? Of rooms at Oxford Street. An educational scholarship at the London University. Credits open at Hamilton. Redigan House, tailors, and at Baird Sons, luxury jewelers. So, So, right, just going through everything, but what she was sort of, I guess the reason we don't mention this to her is that we don't know that we have knowledge of her debts and stuff. So she didn't actually have money, she had debt, and she had a lot of it, and she was sort of a big spender, and this guy was paying for all of it. Mr. Dunn, we must ask you for the last time for the return of our dear sisters. You do not have any right to hold them in prison. They do not belong to you. Your so-called permissions are wholly false. You are hiding behind lies. The lie we need not elaborate. That was reported in the press as the case of June 14th, 1889. What you have done is quite abhorrent. Be very sure that we shall never abandon our family members. We trusted you and regret having done so. The Divine Syndicate. Are they speaking of flowers? Are they speaking of something else? My dear friend, please allow me to express my disappointment upon reading your last letter. I am paying you to defend me, not to accuse me. Kew Gardens is a royal institution. We are granted the great opportunity to travel the world and to save the most extraordinarily precious and rare species of plant. Our duty is to protect such species and from those who might wish to use them for dubious purpose. This divine syndicate of whom you speak have no right to hold such precious plants. Remember the case of June 14th, 1889. So I must respectfully ask you once again to notarize the permissions on these plants on behalf of Kew Gardens. The documents were sent to you on Monday. P.S. See you in Boodles on Tuesday as always. Montague Dunn. I'll just read it just real briefly because I want to know who this is sort of targeted to, because it is written by Montague. Our duty is to protect such species. This divine syndicate of whom you speak have no right to hold such precious plants. I'll sort this out. We're gonna go and look at June 14th 1889, and then we shall return, and then we'll go to the seed house. So we'll see. Oh, letters. Dear Mr. Holmes, I finally found the courage to write you a letter. I can scarcely find the words to express my gratitude for your kindness. On that terrible day, I believed my life to be ruined, but at the same time, I realized there to be one person in the world who truly loved me and who I loved in return. His name we both know. He is Captain Jack Sparrow Crocker. His love has given me true reason to live. Even if we cannot be together in the end, none of this could have happened without you, Mr. Holmes. Yours sincerely, Mary Brackenstall. Cool. So that is the last mission. Okay, so there's a lot here. Let's try the case of 1889. Oh, I need to do it anyway. The Divine Syndicate Club, followers of the God King Trewon, situated on the 48 Grosvenor Street, Charlton Road, protector of plants and more particularly trees, and currently the subject of an administrative investigation. The leaders of this organization are suspected of financial malfeasance. It may be that this investigation will lead to charges of judiciary. Meanwhile, many voices have risen high against this inspection, denouncing the state. In fact, this private organization, which has given as its goal the defense and protection of nature, and which incorporates many persons of influence, including political representatives of the opposition party.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
So we have the plants that have been destroyed in the burn pit, and then we have people who are trying to protect plants. So we'll see. Search for the symbol of the broken pot. We're going to need chemistry for sure. The Divine Scholastic Syndicate for Vegetation Veneration. The members of this syndicate worship Trowan, the God King. They serve to obtain spiritual peace and release themselves from the material world. So generous donations are appreciated. Oh, what happened? No idea what happened there. Right, so they need just money.
Here it is.
And then rare plants. Oh, let's try the symbol. Botany, plant hormones.
That is not the one I need.
Yeah, I think we need to come back for that one. So we're looking for marks and symbols there. Seymour's Garden. Garden equipment and supplies. We are a premium supplier of all your landscape, gardening, and timber requirements. Full range supply and delivery of sands, soils, mulches, pots, and everything else you may need. 3 Blurton Road, London.
Here it is.
Okay. And then rare plants, botany. It was in the encyclopedia. Exotic plants. Oh. I thought this was what I already clicked. Because well, whatever. These plants have a certain toxicity in common, more or less variable. All these plants, only the first 3 can be dangerous to humans. Florum diabolica sounds diabolic, but only under very specific conditions. The plant should react to a process of aggression against which it will issue deadly spores. So we need to figure out what that looks like, and so let me just write that down now, because I wrote down somewhere plants were destroyed ages ago. There. Except destruction of plants, except diabolica. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So all plants were destroyed, framed. It was a setup to get the poisonous plant. However, that is not possible. Or, I mean, it doesn't work. Time doesn't work backwards. So there's something there that we need to figure out, but I think we're going to have to sort of put it together rather than it's going to be given to us. So the people who protect plants wouldn't destroy them. And I also...
Here it is.
I need to check one thing, because I didn't put into mind what the actual fuck... No, what the... the marble statue is interesting, but I was looking for the pot in the fire. And I sort of skipped through... I sort of skipped through that part because I thought that it's going to be in my inventory or in my evidence, so I didn't really.
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
I didn't really put that into mind because I thought that I was gonna see it later because there was so much stuff, but I should have looked at it better. Let's go to Kew Gardens, and I will go to the fire just briefly to have a look at the pot shard that was in there. Because it would sort of tell us which plant was, or who owned at least one plant in the collection.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
Toby will do as commanded. Open this door. Oh, shit. So someone made some poison, I would presume. Total guess. And then he would walk around here. And... Huh. Where is he taking it? Hidden place. Toby, don't get poisoned now.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes. A tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
Right, so the caterpillar... It was a timed... Alright, so here we go. I'll say as I write. Timed... poison device, perhaps, where the caterpillar is set or put in there with poison, with a toxic plant or parts of it. Then the caterpillar attacks it. And then the poison is released, or the toxin rather. And then the gold, because it's not reactive, it would create a sort of barrier between something and something. So gold is a barrier because it's not really holding anything. Let's say it's a bottle with poison in it, you just drop it and then it breaks and then the poison gets out. I'm not exactly sure how you would use that, but I think we might figure it out. And the person walked past from here. They could have gone in from there, or, well, nowhere else really makes sense. But this makes more sense to just walk through that. And is that it? Toby's just gonna chill out there? Maybe we need to talk to Toby or tell him to... You can go home. Wouldn't mind him having... Wouldn't mind having him around
Brave
here.
Toby.
But anyways, hidden in the back there. And before we do anything else, I'll go to the fire. And I'll think about the gold while we walk. So... Gold is non-reactive, so if you have a lot of it, you can separate two. If there's a liquid and then there's something, something. Oh, hello.
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
Oh shit! We should have gone to the seed house before. Everything.
Open.
I don't think she's hiding anything, but we might have missed something. God damn it. But we didn't get to go through this place without her in it, at least. Let me just look around and see if there's anything interesting here in the first place. I sort of jump through because I usually like to explore everything first. Germination is the process when the embryo starts to grow into a new plant. So, germination process using that. I'll leave this open. Oh, it closes off, whatever.
These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants. Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. This place serves as Albert's office. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Indeed. Monica Taladon. I remember this being really difficult as a kid. I think it was all the names and different parts, but then these days you sort of understand, or I understand how things work, so everything's a lot easier now. I didn't care for biology back then. So there was really nothing that much here, I don't think. Excluding her, of course, but she wasn't here before.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Everyone has these necklaces. Expensive perfume. Nice rack. Her hands have been burnt by something, it seems. Oh, from like... Right, right. I didn't know anything like that. Her fingers don't seem dirty. Her belt buckle is large. So are her ambitions. I can't find anything else. There's one more thing. Unmarried, I think it says, yes.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Alright. So, we want her to sort of lie to us or tell us the truth, but then, you know, not just... I don't want things unmentioned, because that's where we run into trouble, or I run into trouble.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
So I know I'll remember this probably, but just limited access to places because the doors are locked and so on. So we picked so many locks now. I don't think locks mean much, but
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Thank you, miss.
didn't really give us anything. She's never been to the colonial plants. That's really hard to believe. I'll believe the son more than I do believe her. Albert. More than her. What else did we miss? There was another locked door somewhere, I think. We'll figure it out. I think we're going to have to use this map as a sort of way to plot maybe the route of suspect. Dear Watson. So let's see if we can look at it again. Hopefully we can. No. Damn it. Or then it's already out in the open so that we can see it again. No, I think it was right here somewhere. And I would like to ask about the fire too. It's like, who set the fire, please? Is it normal? So we're going to go through, we're going to talk to Albert a little bit, then we're going to talk to... Because the deputy director would know, or should know, about a cleared room and who done it. But if we can't ask about it, then I'm sort of annoyed. There it is. No, it's not. Completely not what I was looking for.
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
Well, his hopes from the letter.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
We're not getting much, I gotta say. Alright, so this is, I think, he should be able to tell us most about it, I guess, but...
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
So... Where's my lies paper? Hamish, father, but he's gonna get caught now, so it doesn't really matter, but...
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work. For Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Right, and then, because I was thinking about the debts, so maybe the dead guy didn't tell about the debts to Miss White, so he was just giving her things and then writing a record of them so that one day maybe he could extort her, or then she sort of, now that she's in the city, she gets too excited about money and stuff because she's been poor, but we'll see.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
Well, he was a drunk, but he seemed healthy to me, like especially a man of action, so that's sort of Suspicious. So he's not suspecting the heart attack, which is, it's just sort of, I don't know, sounds weird. Pushy.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
what is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Alright, so who was using who, I don't know, but she was getting money and he was getting attention, and then, you know, the debt part of it just sounds weird. So I don't know if she knew about the debt, but I would, I don't know. We'll see.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Insectivorous, which means, I guess, carnivorous in a sense. But he is denying they grow lethal plants. And I guess they don't really grow them here, I would assume, but they might have them for exhibitions and things like that.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Yes, indeed. So I would presume that he would know about it. He was sort of weird about it, cleaning up and stuff, so... I mean, is it that obvious? Can it be that obvious? We'll figure out in the next one. See you there.